Top 10 tips for interviews that don't suck. An interview is one person asking questions while the other one answers. It's simple, right? Anyone can do it. But if you're a podcaster who wants your guests to promote the episode, land more quality guests, and have better consumption rates, you might want to take notes on how to up your podcast interview game. So, tip number 1, don't scrimp on the research. Read the book and listen to at least 2 other podcast interviews that they've done. This will set you up to avoid having an interview that sounds like every other interview they've done. Why? You'll know the guest talking points that they can say in their sleep. And you might be asking, but if the talking points are good, does it matter if they're on every interview that the guest has done? Well, it does if the guest is bored with them. Bored guests equal flat content, honestly. Read the book and let your guests know that you read it. That engages them from the beginning. Asking unexpected questions out the gate livens up the interview and makes even the same old talking points a little bit spicier. Tip number 2, do a pre-chat call. So you've read the book, you've listened to a couple interviews. Doing a 20-minute non-recorded pre-chat gives you a chance to say, hey, maybe don't use your laptop microphone when we record. It also gives you a chance to ask a very important question to your guest. What do you wish people asked you that always gets skipped in these interviews? They'll be very impressed. If you can include what they say in your interview, you might just get them to share it out when they might not have otherwise. Plus, it will make for a great interview. And this is tip number 3. This is a good time to also ask, what can I help you promote? They may have an upcoming course that you could help push if you aired it during the registration window. Why does this make for a better interview? Well, when your guest knows that this is not just a transactional relationship, they're more relaxed, they're feeling more connected to you. And that makes for an interview that feels like 2 people who have known each other for more than 10 minutes. Tip number 4, niche it good. The most interesting people do have a wide variety of topics that they can discuss, but the most interesting interviews are about one thing. So make it gossipable. For example, I interviewed a former attorney turned intimacy coach. We could have discussed her giant career change, how she travels to different countries holding retreats, somatic therapy, love after 50, but instead we focused on the question, can a sexless marriage survive? It's odd, I know, but now you're going to talk about it because it's specific. Tip number 5, don't read their bio from their website. It's like starting a date with a deck of icebreaker cards. It feels choppy, cold, and leaves your guests looking for a way out. Either write a unique bio that includes the topic you'll be discussing that day, or skip it altogether and record an intro in post, but still don't read from their bio. Tip number 6, even if you're discussing technical aspects of, let's say, an industry, always ask your guest for a story, because everyone loves stories. This is another thing that you could ask about in the pre-chat since it may be challenging for them to think of one on the spot. But a story plus information makes for a great interview. Tip number 7, don't let time run away. Remind the guest how much time you have before you hit record. They might say, oh, just interrupt me if I get off topic, but that's hard to do for most people. So I introduce the hand of change. If you see this hand, enter the chat. It means wrap up your thoughts so we can change onto the next subject. And if that doesn't work, a simple, could I just interrupt you real quick? I'd love to come back to what you're saying, but for time, let's move on to, and then pause and ask the question. You can cut out the interruption part in post. If that feels too bold or you don't do editorial edits for your show, you could try, for the sake of time, I want to move on to another part of your expertise. Tip number 8, avoid using the same transitions all the time. Try to mix it up. You could briefly summarize and then move on to the next question. But you've given us a lot to consider here, plus next question. You could just react or just move on to the next question with no transition. You don't have to say interesting after every point that they make. Tip number 9, don't read from your list of questions. It's good to have a plan and have that list of questions ahead of time. Write them down, but group them together according to a theme. Then pull them out when the conversation sets you up for it naturally. Reviewing them, by the way, before you jump on the call with the guest will allow you to have those questions top of mind. And number 10, Be yourself. Don't over-sanitize your interviews. This isn't 60 Minutes. Show your personality. Disclose a little bit about yourself. People want to know your guests, but they want to know you too. A word of caution, though, if you do bring on a subject matter expert and you yourself are also expert in that field, don't override your guest. The temptation to add advice will be strong, but it doesn't land well for your listeners or for your guests because it'll make you look like a know-it-all. Those are my top 10 tips for interviews that don't suck. If you're interested in checking out my interviews, I cover taboo topics through nuanced conversations. The Sexless Marriage Question was episode 230. It's called Meredith for Real, The Curious Introvert, and it's on podcast platforms everywhere and YouTube.